going on, buddy? How are you?
There we go. Doing great. How about yourself, man?
Another fantastic Thursday. I'm good. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. Why don't we give me a little rundown on your day today, dude? I had an epic day. Just give me the 1 minute elevator talk on what your day looked like today. What did you do?
Dude, my day was it was a weird day for me. All right. So day started everything gutter launch until like 11 o'clock in the morning. That usually goes pretty smooth, right? We do our community call, we're rocking, we're rolling. And then I don't know, man, it was just like doom and gloom today.
Really?
It
What
was
do you mean?
like no sun, and I went
Interesting.
through like a super bum lead. And I was like, ah, man, this sucks. And I don't know, it's just like doom and glooming, and my head was pounding. But you know what? It is Thursday night, and it is Gutter Live, and I'm like, nah, I'm putting on another cowboy hat. This is going to be a better moment, and I'm done with that hat for the day. I'm
There you
putting on
go.
a better hat, and we're going to rock and roll.
A
So,
good way to look at it. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. How about you, man? Tell me about yours. You had
Oh
an
man,
awesome day.
just grinding. Where I just the pace is intense lately. What did I do? I just was up at 5, hit the gym. I've been crushing the gym lately, which is phenomenal. I'm like on a 4 month run.
Good.
But I have to do it early. It's the only time I could do it. So I have to start the day super early. It's dark out when I leave the house. I get it in, full sweat, come home, shower, ready for work. But by like this time of night, I am shot.
Right.
I
Right.
had communication with the UK first thing this morning with one of the programming teams for GutterApp. And then I hit the road. I did a number of high level estimates on drainage. I looked at actually a roof, some gutters,
Okay.
and just took calls all day. I went to physical therapy. So I had a second workout. It's more like he does a little body work, and then I hit the weights again. And then I went to another estimate, and then I ran to the
Goodness.
office. It's just literally all day on the phone.
When do
Just
you have time to like run your business?
I'm running my business all day, man. It's just nonstop. But you got to sneak in. You got to sneak in a little bit of self care here and there. You know, it's a must have. It's the only way that I'm keeping my sanity and trying to keep the weight off. You know, I'm getting old, man. Got to move
I
your
hear
ass,
you.
or it piles on.
Dude, I feel that. Like I literally like I was reading books with my kids tonight, and I looked down and I was like, oh, there's my belly. Like
Turning
shit.
pages with your belly roll.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I gotta take care of this.
Yeah, it
Crap.
sneaks up on you fast, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. Not all of us can look like our guest Scott today. So you
Yeah,
know.
Scott Milashus, man. We'll get to him in a little bit. So who do we have on tonight? We have two guests. Scott is one of them, as you said. Who's our first guest?
Yeah. To our first one today, we're bringing on Dennis Lugo from Micromesh Gutter Guards. I met Dennis. Well, shoot, I probably met Dennis like I don't know 3 months ago, but I met his boss Karen a little over a year ago. And this woman is like superwoman when it comes to everything that is gutter and business.
Great.
And yeah, I've really taken a liking to them and what they're doing. And yeah, I think they do things a little bit different than most of your other gutter guard companies.
I,
And
I think everybody kind of knows their products, right? One name or another. When we get him on here, he's going to talk about what they do, what they make. But um, a number of those names ring a bell for most guys. Would you say?
I think so. I would hope so, but they also have some other ones that are like, I mean, they'll take out some of the top dogs, and I think that's
All
pretty
right.
cool. So,
Yeah. All right. So let's bring him out. Let's bring him out.
all right, let's go, George. Bring the man out. Woo! There he is.
What's up,
Hey
Dennis?
guys, how
How
are
are you?
y'all?
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
You're the Panhandle, right?
We are well, I am, I should say. Pensacola, Florida, if anyone's near, shout out.
How's the weather?
68, cooling
yeah.
down a little bit. Beautiful sunset.
This is
Nice.
like perfect, man. That's exactly what I wish I had.
Right.
So,
That's like the everyday type of weather, right? I could take that every day.
right.
Yeah, after hearing your little doom and gloom,
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
sad
I know.
story.
It was like 40 and cloudy and on and off rain. I was just like, ah. But
Hey,
anyways,
listen, one little fun fact about the Panhandle nobody really knows unless you live here is that when I say it's cold, like below 50, everyone kind of laughs a little bit. But until you've experienced the cold here, I don't want to hear what anyone has to say. It's freaking cold.
You guys,
Humid.
you guys have winter coats on at 50 degrees. I'm in a t-shirt, like giggling.
Right. You know what though, Dennis? I can actually agree with that. I did a little stint in Sarasota, Florida. I lived there from January of 17 through July of 17. And when I moved down there, I came from Michigan. Like I moved down January 6th, and it was single digits when I left Michigan. Like I'm in the box truck and literally couldn't keep the ice off the windshield. That's how cold it was, right?
Mhm.
And I got down to Florida and it was 42 degrees out. And I swear it was colder than the single digit weather I left in Michigan.
It's the
It-
humidity, man. It's the
yeah,
humidity. It's bone chilling. It's wet,
right.
damp.
Yeah, something weird. Something weird. So, but anyways, yeah,
Let's give us the crash course on the products. I think that's a good way
yeah,
we could
let's,
start.
let's jump,
We're all
jump in.
curious.
Sure. I guess I'll start out with a couple of fun facts.
Anyways, yeah, let's.
Micromesh was actually created by the creator of Leaf Filter. So Alex Higginbotham actually ended up creating. I hope I said his name right. Ended up creating one of our first products, which is Master Shield. Um, without getting too far into the story, Karen actually came over with Alex, and after Alex retired, she ended up creating our masterful pieces. So we have Micromax, which is kind of like our entry level. We have Clean Gutter, which is where the fun starts, and then we have kind of the tip of the top, which is Master Shield. And we're pretty unique. We're the only ones out there that actually have copper woven into our screen, and it's proprietary to us. So that's kind of the quick rundown of Master Shield or
Just
Micromax.
just for starters, Micromesh, that's the name of the company, but is that a trademark name, or is that an actual product name? We all know what Micromesh is, but is that a name that you guys control in any way, shape, or form?
Not anymore. We started it, but everyone's heard of a micro mesh now. It's not really unique to us anymore. Everyone just loosely throws the name around. Um, but Alex Higginbotham actually started the whole ordeal with inventing the first micro mesh.
Okay.
I tell
Interesting.
you.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I always like that was one thing that always kind of got me with you guys' company name being
Hmm.
Micromax Gutter Guards, right? I was always like, man, like that. It's a pretty bland name because like I don't know the origin of it, right?
Yeah,
But at the time, it was probably the top dog.
yeah.
Right? It
I
was
talk to a lot of folks when I hear others talk about gutter guards, like, yeah, I want to sell a micro mesh. That's such a generic term now.
right,
Everyone wants it. Yeah, give me a micro mesh.
But it's a heavy keyword, so you guys should win as a company by
right.
that name. I mean, it's such a widely searched topic, right?
Well, I think we all know who comes out on top just because they're not really a
Who
gutter
are
guard company. They're a marketing company,
Yep.
not to be mentioned.
not to be mentioned. We all know who that is.
Right. So you guys are a dealer network or multiple tiered. How do you explain or describe yourselves?
A good question. So we actually actively look for dealers that we want to represent our product. We are not B2C. We are B2B.
Okay.
So we are
Just to be clear,
manufactured
not business to consumer, business to business. So you
business to
only sell
business.
to gutter guys or maybe wholesalers. You have some wholesalers or no?
Very few, yes.
Okay.
No
Mhm.
big box. Everybody is an actual installer.
Correct. With the exception of a couple of the I guess whole stores. Scott, do me a favor if you don't mind mute. Um, he doesn't
George is
even know we're
recording.
on. Yeah, it's no worries. So we actually have a couple of distribution, I guess a distribution model, if you will, with just a few supply stores. Not very many. We're not in very many ABCs or Lansings or anything like that. So we want to keep our product pretty reserved. And like I said, we're looking for a special dealer.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, it's important to me as a contractor. It's important to me to know that what I'm putting out there is not also on the shelf, either for the homeowner or for Joe Blow contractor to walk into some supply house and get their hands on it. Is that the case? You protect that the
Sure.
product for me?
But we all know that most folks can go whatever you sell currently now, and I'm not going to go down the path of naming all the names, but
Right.
almost every single person can buy it currently now
Right.
with whatever you're selling,
Any product.
any product.
So everybody's white labeled their products and put it out there for, or change the name in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, I'll name
probably
it
to
like
agree.
Leaf Blaster Pro to Gutter Glove, or Gutter Glove to
Hmm.
Leaf Blaster,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Big box. I mean,
you know,
who doesn't want to go to big box, right? I mean, that's the business model, right? Everybody wants to get sucked up by the big guy and Walmart it out and get on the shelf, right? I mean,
that's it.
uh,
Yep,
Yeah,
all your
make it
products
easier.
centralized into a supply house, if you will.
so that must be the biggest. Is that the biggest attraction to become a dealer? For me to want to be in the dealer program, that is short of the product itself being functional and warrantyable. Is it? What are the attractions for me to be interested in your services as a third party? You know, partner, if you will.
Well, the sales guy in me is probably going to ask you first, like, why would you want to partner with us? I mean, you have to be looking for something unique. You have to be looking for something that kind of sets yourself apart that not everybody can get your hands on. We call it selling in the category of one. Um, and if you're just looking for pinching pennies, yeah, I'll call it that. We're probably not for you. We're not looking for the guy that's looking for the best deal that he can possibly get on a value product. That's not who we're looking for.
Right.
And you're probably not looking for us either. So,
Well, I mean, short of a functional product for me, and Colin, you may have a different set of things that appeal to you. For me, short of a functional product, I want you to help me sell it. I want you, whether it's marketing or backing that product, standing behind it, lifetime
mhm,
warranty, 40-year warranty, whatever it may be. I want you as a company to help me support my client, my prospective client, and then I think we have something. That's what would be appealing to me in a relationship like that.
absolutely. Let me ask you this. How many, or maybe used to, how many manufacturers have you ever worked with that just gave you everything you want?
I mean, that's a utopian scenario. I mean, it doesn't, that doesn't even register in my head. That question, I can't even try to answer that.
It's kind of my point. So there's very, very few and far out there that actually, I'm going to say this loosely here, want their dealers to succeed and aren't just looking for a pulse, right? You know, I talked to a guy today. He was talking about being the value guy and so on, and he's not very good at sales, and he keeps saying that, and he's like, yeah, I really want to sell your product and so on, and I was like, I won't say his name. I was like, Bob. I said, Bob, how many manufacturers, or I'll say, does Leaf Blaster ever call you and ask you how you're doing today
Right.
and what they can help you with? No, they don't. And I'm not attacking supply houses, but what you're looking for is support.
That's
You
part
want
of
to
your
know how
program. You reach out to your guys.
100%. I mean, if I have any dealers on here right now and they want to make a comment, I'd probably call them today.
Yeah.
Or Aaron, our other my counterpart, he's in production. The man, the myth, the legend with that used to work for a very large gutter guard company out there, and he knows freaking everything under the sun. So we are always reaching out to our dealers, whether that be a phone call, a text, an email. And this is part of what you were asking for. Like, what do we give you?
Right.
Our dealers, we try to give them everything because we don't want you to struggle. We don't want you to have to go think about hiring somebody else to handle your sales or whatever the case may be. So, when a dealer comes on, while we may not give them ad spend directly, we give them all the Facebook posts in our own little kind of marketplace. So if you were to come on today, Frank, and you're like, hey, I need to think about some Facebook posts or Instagram or LinkedIn posts that I want to get out tonight and spend hours thinking about that or have someone else do it, you don't have to. You can
So
literally just take it.
what is it? You have canned media that you share and let them repurpose, or
Yep,
you
we have
spin up your
mock-ups.
logo on it.
Yep. So we have mock-ups that they can repost. They can kind of reword it how they want to. Sales scripts, email campaigns.
Okay.
So you get in business, you're a smaller guy, you're like, shoot, I gotta figure out how to email all these people afterwards and figure out some sort of tricky thing I'm gonna say to them. We literally have templates in our course area that you can just copy, paste, send to them right out the gate.
Awesome.
Just replace their name in there.
That's huge.
Um,
That's a major value add for a lot of them guys. Like, Frank, like when GutterApp first came out, your big target was like sub $500,000 guys.
Right.
And those guys need that type of assistance. You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I'm going to be raw, and Colin, you just hit the nail on the head. I'm going to be raw and make a statement, and just a lot of guys out there are phenomenal installers. They're very good at with their hands, but they're not salespeople. They know they need chops, or maybe they don't have the time or the inclination or the motivation to get those sales chops. So what they need to do is lean on a high quality product and a manufacturer that can support the sales side, whether it be literature, mailers, social media content, anything that'll help that product. And I've been yelled at by mentors in my sales training, where you never say a product sells itself.
right?
And you always look for that silver bullet, that product that does nearly sell itself. But I mean, guys need help. Guys need help in the sales environment. And so if you guys could lend to that, that's a huge step.
but
Right.
it's much more than that, Frank. Like you actually just remind me. So twice a week, sales and production clinics that we run. Um, I'll share a story from today. So we had today's topic was sales. How do you rebuttal? And um, I had some little flashcards that I kind of picked up about common objections in our industry, like someone stonewalls you and says, "Hey, yeah, I'm not doing business today," or the wife's not, whatever the case may be. So, we had a couple folks on today, and we were just kind of practicing. And no one's right or wrong, just to get you comfortable in the pressure.
Right.
And at the end of it, one of the guys on there, I didn't know he was a production manager initially. And so I thought normally it's just sales guys coming in. And he's like, he said something and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the production manager and whatever." I said, "But you're not. You're not just the production manager. You're the sales guy. Everyone in your company sales
That's
right
right.
now."
That's right.
And I gave him an example. I said, you cold call a customer and they're like, "Yeah, I want to cancel." And that is now your job to figure out why do they want to cancel.
Right.
And I gave him another example. He's standing in line at a sub shop and a customer sees their logoed shirt on. And they're like, "Oh yeah, I just saw Frank and he came over to my house to sell me a roof, but I'm not going to move forward with it right now." And then I'm like, "Okay, why not? Did something happen?" Like it's your job to ask and be the face of the company and be sales. That's everyone in the company. And so we had a long discussion about that today.
Yeah, I mean, this is stuff that Colin and I are working on. We have a team together, Gutter School,
Mhm.
a crew of instructors, and these are things we talk about, and we completely agree. I mean, I had a conversation. George is in off camera, but I was on the phone 2 hours ago with an installer, a tech, and everybody is accountable. Everybody's a salesperson. Anybody that
Mhm.
interfaces with a homeowner is either selling the business or screwing it up, right?
100%.
You're tarnishing the brand or you're selling that homeowner on the fact that we're the right answer and we have other solutions. And it's the little soft skills, right? Like never say no, always look for the upsell. I mean, you don't have to literally write the sale, but help the sales team. Bring it back to the office, call it in, text somebody.
There,
Always
there's
be,
so much here.
contribute. What's that,
There-
Colin?
There's so much here. We could nerd out on this for
I
days.
know, I know.
Like
We will. We do.
this is so much. Oh, I mean, this is episode 3. Like, goodness gracious, we're
But
gonna.
you asked me like what makes us unique, right? And it's those very things right there that we give back to our dealers
Well,
that
find
they
out
didn't
how you
ask
do that.
for.
Let's
Is
talk
that
about the product. What makes your product unique? Do you have anything that's patented or stands out for what you're doing that the other guys out there are not, so that
Yeah,
everybody?
and kind of give us like the rundown on the 3 different products, if you don't mind.
sure? So we'll start with the Micromax. It's kind of like our I'll call it a base level, if you will, or kind of builder grade. But it's tradition a little bit better than a builder grade. It doesn't have any none of our products have plastic in it. Okay. I'm gonna just throw that out there now. Not like some of the other companies that may have plastics in their company or virgin vinyl, whatever you want to call it. Um, with that being said, Micromax comes in a couple different sizes. We even have a flat back version that will fit both 5 and 6 inch. So if you kind of want to keep one size standard, um, none of our products lay flat. Flat is bad. Um, you have to know flat is bad. Almost everyone out there lays a flat gutter guard. That like times have changed, people have adapted, and people are aware now. Like, what does the bookshelf hold other than books?
Dust, dirt.
100% dust, dirt, and everything in between. What do flat gutter guards hold? Debris. And you may argue and say, or counter and say, well, what if I don't have trees around? Okay. Do you have birds? Do you
Right.
have squirrels and so on? So, anyways, we don't lay flat. We pitch with the roof line
Okay.
as best you can. So we can also go underneath the shingle. So that's Micromax. Micromax comes in two different sizes, three different sizes technically.
I wanna like change your pitch on that a little bit because you say it's like your builder's grade,
Mhm.
and I just did this sales training inside a Gutter Launch.
Sure.
I don't remember what day it was, but what your premium, your
Mhm.
good, or let's do this, your good, better, best might be somebody else's like off the chain. They can't even fathom it. Your good might be better than their premium. Do you understand what I'm saying here?
I see that.
Like,
Yeah.
so let's just use this for an example because I actually use your products. So
That
I
was,
sell my
the question I was about to ask you. I'm like, how do you know this?
yeah. So my good, better, best. All right, is 6 inch open gutters, right? Just regular standard 6 inch gutters. But even my good, if it's open gutters, we'll use a max flow or a wide mouth outlet, whatever it's called in your region, right? With 3x4 downspouts. That's like our bare bones gutter, right? You cannot buy gutter from us if it doesn't have that. And then from there, then our mid grade is 6 inch K style gutter with Micromax. Now I used Micromax to replace Leaf Blaster because it does. And then my premium is 6 inch gutter with Master Shield. Now,
That's the name a lot of people at home know. Master Shield is well branded. I mean, or maybe I've been solicited as a contractor.
maybe.
Yeah.
I think you've been solicited.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll talk after.
Yeah. But so moral of my story is my good being 6 inch with a wide mouth outlet, whatever. Somebody else might come in and their good, better, best options might be 5 inch gutter or 5 inch gutter with a continuous hanger system or something like that, or 5 inch gutter with some sort of micromax.
Mhm.
All right. And none of that holds a candle to even my good option. And so I did this teaching and it blew a lot of people's brains. So I don't want you to get caught up in saying that Micromax is like builder grade because it's not. Just because it's the lowest level of what you guys offer does not
Mhm.
mean that it's garbage, right?
See, Dennis Collins, he's teaching and preaching right now.
Hey, we did that yesterday, and I appreciate it too.
EBT.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So it's a good point to note. So Micromax is made of stainless steel and aluminum. Okay, and then we'll move on to clean gutter. Clean gutter is, I'll call it our mid range for us. And that's where it starts to get a little fancy. We have a 5 and a 6 inch version, plus we have a high flow version of both of those. Where are the most troubled areas at in a, when you're doing gutters and gutter cleaning?
Valleys.
Valleys.
100%. So we created a high flow version just for that very occasion. Now, is it gonna keep overshooting entirely? No. I mean, acts of God, there's not a gutter guard out there that's going to prevent everything. But we start to get a little fancy with we have copper starting in clean gutter. Do y'all know what copper does?
And what's the patinas? I mean, Where are you going with
Patinas. No, it prevents like moss and algae and
moss
all
and
that.
algae? Yeah, it's use it
Yep.
in roofing too as an algae.
Right.
100%. So we're the only gutter guard out there that has copper woven into our cloth, and that is proprietary to us. Our cloth is proprietary.
Cool.
With that being said, the copper and the cloth in general, starting with clean gutter, kills moss, lichen, algae. It thins roofing oils. Copper is the natural oil thinner that going into an actual gutter, and basically it will bust the spores, the bacteria spores. So folks will even use it when it comes to cisterning water. And so as long as you have a metal roof, not an asphalt roof.
Right.
Um, and then we have Master Shield, which is most folks are more familiar with the actual name. Master Shield is kind of a one size fits all, so it'll fit anything from a 5 inch to an 8 inch super gutter. Um, It has kind of like little lines across the back of it. You can score it, cut it, break it, and then you can throw it underneath the shingle, or you could fascia mount it. It's kind of a all in one. Master Shield does have copper in it as well. Plus, we have a full copper version of Master Shield for those of you out there that do copper half round, whatever the case may be. Our products will also fit half round because that's becoming a more of a kind of a topic folks are asking me about. It's like I can't find anything to fit a half round.
Absolutely.
Or just good copper gutter guards, period.
Yeah,
Right.
or just good in general.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Micromax is available in copper as
It
well, right?
is. So I
Okay.
didn't say that earlier. So we have Micromax, kind of our has the screen itself is still stainless steel, but the front tab and the back tab are copper. Um, and then we also have brass screws that can go along with it as well.
Excellent.
Hmm.
All
Yeah.
right, let's talk more deeply about the program. We have about 5 minutes, and I want to just really get into some finer details on what you offer. How exclusive is this dealer network? How protected are territories? For guys that really are discerning and want the very best, and they want to be part of something like this, what's the process? How tight? Obviously, different territories have different people in them, but how many? Let's start with how many dealers you have. How big is this network?
So we have about 150 dealers kind of spread throughout the U.S. A lot of the northeastern folks sprinkled in kind of the central, and then a few out on the west coast.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Is like the tri-state area the heaviest population of dealers?
Definitely upper East Coast.
Yeah. Yeah. HQ is where you guys are in the East Coast, right?
Patterson, New Jersey. Yes,
Jersey, Jersey.
our manufacturer is in Patterson, New Jersey.
So like Jersey to
So
Maine is heavily peppered.
yeah, and down that kind of a little bit of the coast area. Um, so to become a dealer, I mean, obviously, you can visit our website. You can call me directly, or I find you, however that works out. And we have a couple different programs. We have kind of the program we recently just kind of readapted for. It's called the Grow Program. I'll kind of go through this really quickly. No agreement. There is a minimum box committed, which is 10 boxes, which is 1,000 feet.
Okay.
Um, and then we move over to the dealer programs. The dealer program, there's two. There is the Pro, which is for a smaller market. I don't know, like Lexington or something like that. We call it B market, and then we have a authorized dealer, which is for a larger market like Chicago or DC or something like that.
Cool.
So you're required to buy two different amounts just because you're in a larger market. Um, with that being said, our dealers pretty much get access to everything that we have. Um, so when we speak with the dealer, we want to make sure that we're all on the same page because there is an agreement that goes in place because you have to meet minimums.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're guiding you down the right path, making the right decision for your business. Because as I said in the beginning, we're not looking for the company that's trying to just get the most budget thing out there. They're probably not for us. Race to the bottom. We're looking for folks that want to actually sell a premium product for a premium price and really serve your customer.
Sure.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. I like it. I think that the only thing that I guess I want you to give us your rebuttal, a 10 box minimum. Obviously, like dependent I'm sure pricing, like we're buying direct from manufacturer, so pricing is dependent on how much you're buying and whatever else, right? But $10 minimum. Do you ever get that objection? Like, dude, I don't want to buy 10 boxes of stuff. That's $3, $4, $5, $6,000, whatever that number is, right? I don't want to splurge on that. And then, yeah, I guess is that an objection that you get frequently?
We do, yes.
Yeah.
And
When you have guys come on and start doing that, is there any sort of like aha moment that they end up having?
yeah, actually, it's kind of a good question. Most folks are used to going to a supply store and getting kind of on an as needed basis. Whether you think you are or not, you're kind of you're not handling your money very well going to supply house multiple different times. So we set the 10 box minimum, and it saves you not only time from picking it up or whatever the case may be, but actually money and delivery. So we're saving you on both ends here.
Okay.
We're trying to, I say we're trying to keep you out of the supply store because we give you everything that comes with the boxes, the screws, you build the end caps out of the product. So you don't really you don't need anything other than your tools
All right.
to go do this job.
One thing I'm interested to know is leads. Do you guys, how trafficked is your website by consumers, and how many leads do you find you're distributing across your dealer network?
Good question. So we have 3 customer facing websites, one for each product. We get leads in every single day. Now, is it to the same area? No, it just depends on who the homeowner's looking, right? And when we do get a lead in that area and we have a dealer in the area, we most certainly send it over to them.
Here we go.
Cool. Excellent. Well, we're out of time. We really appreciate you coming out, and I think we're going to certainly have you back. Any parting questions, Colin, from you?
No, Dennis, just thank you. I wrangled Dennis yesterday, and literally I was on the phone with him, and I was like, I might have to have you on the podcast sometime. He's like, dude, podcasts scare the crap out of me. And then like 3 hours later, I was like, hey, you want to be on this podcast tomorrow night? He's like, you know what? You pushed me out of my comfort zone earlier. Let's just keep going with this thing, right? So
I did. Thank you for having me regardless.
Joining us.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Thank you.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
All right.
It's I don't know, man. I was intrigued. I mean, I think they have a great thing going. There's so many options now. It's so difficult to choose as a contractor, right? Like if you're going to get behind something and you're like, I'm going to marry this and this is going to be what I'm going to spend money on marketing. I'm going to put it on my website and I'm going to, maybe spend money on print and stuff like that. So many options. It really comes down to like, what is critical? Let's talk about that for a hot minute. What do you think is critical for a contractor to really focus on when they're making a decision on what product they're going to get behind and like run with for a hot minute,
Yeah, you know what? This is actually a big part of my roofing sales process. And I need to make it like a little bit, I wish I could make it a bigger part of my gutter sales process. And gutter's just like lagging a little bit behind in the roofing game. I know you do roofing as well, but
Yeah.
when I partnered with GAF in roofing,
Yeah.
like I actually partnered with them. Like they pay for some marketing dollars. They supply me with everything I could possibly need. And I don't get that on the gutter side from any of
Anybody.
the
Yeah.
suppliers, right? And it's like, what? Like there's no back end rebates, there's no marketing spend.
We're working on that, right? I mean, we're out here trying to change this for everybody.
Right, we're going to change it big time. It's going to radically shift the game.
Now we're going to parlay over to our good buddy Scott Milashus. For those that don't know Scott, Big Scott, you probably maybe have seen him on the groups. He's definitely active and he's a very helpful guy. But Scott's a buddy. Scott and I are pals. We've known each other a bunch of years now. We've palled around and had some fun times. Scott, you want to embarrass me and maybe tell a story without saying anything that's maybe not safe for the internet?
I mean, we've had some good times, whether it's at conferences or in the canyons and mountains of Texas.
Yeah,
we've met all across the country already.
We have
definitely had some good times.
Yeah. Scotty always comes back for more. We treat each other right. And Colin, in fact, you know what, guys? I'll post it up later tonight. I have a photo of the three of us from like 5 years ago in Denver. I
Yeah.
mean, Colin and I look like we were like 20 years younger. Scott looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I remember that picture. That was the first GutterCon, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were in the hotel lobby.
No, we were at dinner. We went out to that steakhouse.
I think the photo was taken in the lobby, though.
You know what? You're right.
That might have been in the lobby.
Yeah,
That
hilarious.
was the first time I'd ever met either of you.
I
Correct.
believe so. Yeah.
So was that the first time y'all had met too?
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time all of us had met. I mean, we were all OG Facebook gutter guys.
And all you guys at home, this is the
GutterCon
funny
was
part.
bringing us all together.
The funny part for you guys at home that watch this stuff and follow all this craziness that we do, it's so hilarious to meet people in person. And I've done so many events at this point. You always get like, man, you're taller than I thought you were, or you're a lot sexier than I thought. No, I'm joking. But I mean, it's always funny how like,
Yes.
Everybody thinks you feel like you know people. You feel like you know,
Correct.
and then you meet and you're like, I guess we really do know each other now. But always the whole time you feel like you know them, but you've never met. That's
We do. And it's with all of us being on Facebook, you guys are some really strong personalities on Facebook. So for a lot of people watching, it might be intimidating to think that you can meet Frank Heneghan or you can meet Colin DeHaan. But you guys were the guys that I looked up to, and then we meet at all these conferences, and we're all gutter guys. We're all here to help each other, and that's what we're doing on these podcasts.
I mean, I think Scott beeline right over to me. He might have pinched my ass after like 30 seconds. And it was like love at first sight.
It wasn't even 30 seconds.
No, you're right. You're right. Get out, guys. Get out and meet people. This is what it's about. Like just having these two guys on right now. We have a lot of fun in the industry, and everybody's so cool and approachable and sharing.
Yes.
So Scott and I talk all the time offline. We're both raising young kids and stuff, but Scott is a gutter guy. He's only a few years in. He's doing good, great numbers.
Amazing.
Especially for how few years he's in. And now he's transitioning into roofing as well. So I want to talk to him about that a bit. And then Scott, I mean, what's popping? What do you
So, as I've been, obviously following you guys and getting all the help along the way, gutters are starting to get on autopilot. So we have a pretty smooth machine here that we're building, to where gutters are just starting to run themselves. And, I keep asking myself, what do I want to do? Do I want to scale gutters and, do 500 to 1,000 installs, 1,500 installs, 2,000 installs a year to scale to the number that I want? Or do I want to add, 100, 200, 300 roofs and really scale? So I'm lucky, just like I have mentors like you guys in the gutter industry. I have some mentors in the roofing industry that I've been watching all these years. Yeah. And I've just slowly started to build the roof. So next week we're going to put our first roof up.
Congrats.
That's pretty exciting. We already have a website build. We're getting the branding. I learned the hard way in gutters. So everything I learned to do the hard way in gutters, I'm doing the complete opposite in roofing. I'm starting out being the ultra premium brand in roofing. And the good thing is I don't have to rely on the roofing jobs. I don't have to rely on the roofing quotes to keep my business, to keep my lights on at home. So I'm not shooting for the moon on everyone, but I'm the ultra premium price for every roofing job I'm doing now.
Smart man.
And I'm learning. I'm outsourcing, the marketing. I'm outsourcing, the CRM software. I'm outsourcing how we're getting our leads. Everything we're doing out of house. So, so we can just focus on selling roofs and still having a quality of life.
Well, so hold on. Just to break it down for the guys.
Yeah, slow that back down.
No. So you needed the gutter business to create the cash flow. Now you're dipping in and leveraging that cash flow
Correct. Now I can start having fun in business again. So I'm picking a new business to have fun in.
You're always having fun in business. What are you talking about? You lived a good life.
It's fun again now. It's fun again.
So did you set up a second LLC for this? You mentioned
a completely separate entity.
So you got
to have Elite Gutters and I have Elite Roofing and Gutters. Right. So they piggyback and they play off each other.
This is how I play. I have some DBAs. My roofing is under the shield, under the LLC of Connecticut Gutter, but my drainage business is a separate LLC, separate insurance. Correct. A website. You have a separate website for roofing, correct?
Complete separate entity. It's no DBA. It's complete separate entity.
Colin, are you running the same way? Your flavors branded in their own websites, or do you have a big
No,
melting
no,
pot?
I've got one. It's just one way exteriors and it's roofing, gutters, windows, right? So it's the
Okay.
whole shebang. I did that for a little bit, and part of me wishes I still did that, but it is what it is now.
So my,
And
my
this
strategy is separate websites for each flavor, so that I could optimize and maximize keywords and SEO
Yeah,
performance.
so we get the max exposure I can.
And then I
And more
cross.
so, I mean, there might be a time where Elite Roofing and Gutters eats up Elite Gutters, but I have no plans for that right now. The brand we built and the SEO we have from just Elite Gutters, it's phenomenal.
So are you
And then
using
we're
the same likeness in the branding scheme?
correct. It's all the same likeness.
The
Yes,
lion and everybody's in the black.
correct. Same exact branding, same kind of truck wraps, just a different play on
Nice.
words.
I love
And it
it.
also helps us because with Elite Roofing and Gutters, we're not doing nothing in house. So if I sell a gutter job through Elite Roofing and Gutters, it gets subcontracted to Elite Gutters. And then all
Right.
our roofing jobs, all that is subbed out as well. So there may be a point in time where everything gets subbed, or we may, move to where we eat up Elite Gutters under Elite Roofing and Gutters.
Right.
But not right now. We're gonna piggyback off that SEO for a while.
Well,
That's
tell
right.
the guys at home. Was there like trepidation and fear, and were you have you still got the butterflies and nervousness about making this dive into the roofing realm? And if so, what really scares you the most?
Not really. Before there was Facebook for gutter guys, I was in the Facebook roofing groups. And I'm still in Facebook roofing groups. So before we had the community that we had now, I've almost been studying to be a roofer. By way of picking up gutter tips and by way of picking up
Sure.
how to be a service business through roofing groups. And
Okay.
now that my business is successful and I make a decent amount of money, I'm not scared to fail at roofing. The worst that happens is I'm out a couple bucks. For what we have invested into it. So I'm not scared. If anything, I'm excited because I know the potential. I know the kind of money that roofers can make. I know the kind of money that well-scaled gutter businesses can make. So I'm just shooting for the stars. And worst case is we fail, and that's not an option for us.
Colin, what do you say about that? Did you have any kind of
Man, I love that. I love that. Like worst cases, we fail,
Yeah,
and truthfully, like some of my failures, what I thought was worst case, turned out to be like one of the best learning experiences for me and catapulted us so far. I mean, many know I launched 3 locations in the span of 3 months all across the country,
animal?
and they all failed miserably for different reasons. And I learned so damn much
Yeah.
through that, and it's made me 10 times a leader. It's made my headquarters 10 times stronger because they went from like, okay, we're answering phones for one location to now we're a call center for
Right.
4 other locations, and everybody just got like stronger with it. Even though that failed, like yeah, it taught me a lot about like financial responsibility, about leadership, about growing individuals in our company, about systems. Like I was like the system guy in gutters, right? Like the automate your business. And I was like, I got this thing figured out. And then I tried it in different states, and I was like, holy shit, this is a way different ballgame, right? And it was like, I don't know. It was kind of like I could ride my bike with training wheels, and I was like, cool, I'm taking these things off. And you know what? I'm not even gonna be on a pedal bike. I'm getting on a dirt bike now, and it's just like a totally different ball game. I was like, whoa, holy cow! So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that. That's your mindset. It's like if I fail, I lose a few bucks. So
yeah.
well, so what?
And
Like
to even talk numbers, I mean, to let some of you guys know what I have invested, because I mean, let's talk numbers. Let's get into a real
Yeah. Sure.
podcast and what
Do
we
it,
did.
buddy.
For my general liability and workers' comp for roofing, I'm all in at about 11,000 for the year, which might be high for some people, might be low. I'm in Chicago.
You're gonna get adjusted next year. That's gonna go sky
Sure,
high. But you
yeah,
for that.
but which is, I mean, and that's still for
For
the,
year
the
one.
amount of revenue I'm doing now, so it definitely will go up.
Yeah.
I'm probably $1,000 in re-lettering my truck. I'm going to be a couple $1,000s in the expendables, yard signs, my website. That's X amount of thousands of dollars. And then right now, I'm not doing any SEO. I'm not doing any Google pay per click. I'm doing like lead set appointments.
All right.
So those are going to run about $100 per lead, and that's it. So if I fail right now, if I don't sell roofs, there's really not much to lose.
20K.
But you
Right.
see what
No,
Scott just did, though. He didn't hang a shingle and say, "I'm a roofer now," but I didn't do anything with marketing. He just named 4 or 5 different flavors that he's going channels,
yeah.
sources he's going to tap to make the phones ring.
And I haven't even started buying leads yet, and I'm already done. I think we've done 12 different estimates, and
Wow.
that's just by me. I bought a truck today. I did an estimate for the guy I bought a truck from. I've knocked on neighbors' doors that have 3-tap shingles, that have missing shingles.
How are you doing your takeoffs? What are you
The
using?
leads are free. We're gutter guys. We touch a lot of estimates. We're doing 20,
Right.
30 estimates a week. We're
Do you
touching a
do you
lot of
do an
homeowners.
EagleView or iRoofer, or what are you using for takeoffs?
For Roofer, the CRM I picked up was Roofer. So it's a CRM software. It does the takeoff. It has an instant estimator that we're going to put on our website and a couple other tools. So it's an all-in-one service. It has nothing that I know that's lacking for a CRM for roofing yet.
It'll break out materials lists and
It'll
help
do
you.
material lists. It'll sync it. It'll order pretty much everything.
Excellent. Where are you buying materials?
ABC.
Okay, cool. So they're integrated with ABC.
Yeah,
Everybody.
so their pricing is integrated with it. I put my subcontractor pricing list into Roofer. So it's pretty intense as far as what I know. I know AccuLinks and some other ones might get a little more, you know, get in depth.
Yeah,
But for what I know about the
yeah.
roofing industry and from what I need from a CRM, it works for me so far.
You're getting like immediate gross profit numbers and everything as soon as you're putting quantities
Yeah,
in.
correct.
That's awesome. That's slick. Yep.
Good. Excellent. What's your goal? What are you shooting for? Number of roofs or dollars?
This year we'll shoot for $500,000.
Okay.
If we have a hailstorm date, we'll do 3 times that.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
You
I'm
guys
ready
get
to
hail
do
out
three
there.
times that. I don't want to go. I don't want to go knock doors for it, but I'm ready for 3 times that.
We don't get hail in Connecticut, so you guys have that insurance claim.
Yeah, we get hail every year here.
Colin, you get hail, don't you?
Very little.
How's roofing going for you this year, Colin?
Roofing's taken off.
Is it?
I almost had my first 6-figure day doing roofs, like my personal, and so it was pretty cool. I would have had it if I would have had enough of my freaking samples and or not samples, but folders and contracts and all that stuff. But I had to reschedule a neighbor. I did the
Now,
inspection.
how hand in hand are gutter estimates or finding a gutter customer and turning it into a roof lead, or
Yeah.
vice versa? Tell us about how those intertwine for you.
You know what? There's so many of our gutter leads that need new roofs,
Yes.
and I've done it a few different ways, and hopefully this helps you out. But initially, it was, sell the gutter and we'll do the roof, or
Mhm.
we'll try and get the roof later. And then I was like, well, crap, I don't like this, right? Let's try and get them on the roof when we're there selling the gutters, right? So now we do roof inspections on every gutter lead. Well, what happens then is they call us for a gutter estimate. We show up, we're like, hey, I'd love to sell you the $6,000 gutter system, but you need a roof first. And if we put this gutter system out, now we got to take it down in a year when we do the roof.
Exactly.
We should just do the roof first. Yeah. And then what happens is they find the next gutter guy that's like, no, you're good. Like, here, I'll give you this gutter for $5,000. And then they get the gutters and we never hear from them again. We don't get either. So I was like, oh, we're missing something here. And so what we discovered, I had a few sales reps who just really sucked and didn't want to get on roofs. And so I just show up and sell the gutters because it's easy to sell gutters. And so I show up, sell the gutters, and then my technicians would show up and they'd sell the roof. And I was like, we're going back to that. And this goes back to what we were talking about with Dennis. My technicians are selling, right? Always. And so now we just show up and sell whatever they called for.
Whatever they call for.
And then we let our technicians do the upsell because I don't know if you remember this. Well, Scott, you were the owner doing the estimate and then the technician, but I don't know if you've recognized this yet, but sales reps have a much harder time selling than a technician who's showing up to do the thing.
Yeah.
Have you guys experienced that?
Kind of, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, it's like
I think an installer is more trustworthy than the installer.
Exactly.
Than those guys.
That's it.
They're coming there in the morning, showing up, ready to work, greeting the homeowner, and not trying to get a dollar out of them.
Well, when the sales guy shows up with nice squeaky shoes on, the homeowner knows this guy's coming to sell me, so they're
correct.
Subconsciously putting up their guard. They're like, nah.
Unless it's Frank coming.
Unless it's me, of course, right?
Yeah, I call that the resistance wall. Right?
Yeah.
They build a wall of resistance up, and I do multiple things to try and knock that down, but it's still a hard thing. So let's just get in, let's sell the simple thing, and then let our technicians upsell the roof.
So is it easier for you to generate right now still gutter leads, or are you able to generate a lot of roofing leads? And if so, how?
We're pretty much like 50-50. Our roofing leads, truthfully, Google LSA is our best lead source for roofing. And then yard signs is huge, man. Like where I live up here in the sticks, like I don't have major intersections like you in Joliet, right?
Yeah.
Like, a major intersection for us, there's like 4 cars stopped at it, So, um, we don't have major intersections, but if I put yard signs out in the country where like
Mhm.
7 cars go by a day,
You're getting the calls.
I get a call from those
Yeah.
freaking yard signs. They're like, "Oh man, I can't find anybody to do roofs," and I'm like, "Have
Yeah.
you? Do you know that the internet exists?" Like,
Yeah.
so yard signs are a big deal for us. And then, truthfully, and I know you did this with your gutters, just hustling with realtors and
Yeah.
in contractors, even like just trying to get in and let like one of my biggest plays is I always look for ways that I can refer them. And if
Yeah.
I got off the phone with you, Scott, and you're a bathroom remodel guy or
Yeah.
whatever, within that week, I'm going to send 2 or 3 bathroom remodels your way.
Yeah.
And for the rest of your life, you're going to send every single roof and gutter to me.
Correct.
And that's just how it goes. So, so I try and make a few of those touch points every
And are you
week.
pretty involved in the community, I see, as well?
Yeah, we do a ton in the community.
I mean, you're kind of hand in hand with Ludington, aren't you?
Yeah, it's fun, man.
Scott, do you have that in your program? Is that part of your agenda?
I mean, we've kind of found our home base now. So we're based, we run out of Joliet, but we've, kind of found a home in a small town right next to this. So we're going to get more involved with our town, Heneghan. And now that I'm off the truck and now that I'm, able to like do the fun stuff in business, and same thing for Jasmine, I have the time to say, Jasmine, let's go make sure we're in the parade, or, let's make sure we show up. We're sponsoring baseball games so we can set up booths at baseball games,
Yep.
So we can start doing the fun stuff now that'll still pay off, regardless. I want to do it because I'm successful and I can give back and be part of the community, but we can also do the fun stuff and do actual real branding now.
That's it.
Right. Yeah.
And you've got such a good brand. Like I think back to my rec league baseball days, and like the cool company or the cool team was Champs Bar, right?
Yeah.
But like with your branding and your logo, like
Yep.
the cool team can be elite, right?
Exactly.
Elite roofing and gutters, like all black. Like, oh man, I can see it now. They're gonna have the eye black going and stuff. And
Yeah.
so we're on the elite,
Yeah.
Like, it'll be sweet. You got the right name for it, man.
I think so. That's why it was a come to moment when it came to me. So,
Right.
So you
Frank,
guys,
tell us how your year's been.
it's going well. It's actually a little bit slower. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit it's a slower start than normal. I think there's a number of things going on. For one, it was a tough winter. It was freezing cold here. Everything was just iced up, and we're not used to that. We've had like mild winters, but it's fine. I mean, I've done 23 cycles of this. What happens is when you have a tough winter, you have a slow start, but then you have a banging year because everybody's stuff is all messed up. And they're just slow to get out. Like the groundhog that saw his shadow, they're just not getting out and looking around the house too quick. We kind of had like a little false spring start, and it got nice out, and now it's brick. It's cold and wet again, so it's still kind of dragging out. On top of that, where I live, it's all financial guys. All these guys are wrapped up deeply into the stock market. They're either traders or they just day trade on the side. And every decision they make, they're such smart, shrewd money people. They're all multimillionaires where I am. They're so smart with their money. When they're having a great year and they're skimming off the market, that's what they do their improvements with. They never come out of pocket. The money just sits. And so when the market's not doing great, which, as we know, it's been all over the place in the last couple of days even. I mean, I had a short play today and made a couple grand betting against the S&P 500. But most guys are, deeply invested into the S&P. And so if they're not making money, they're holding fast. They're not doing anything. I'll push it off a month. That's why I got into drainage. And in the drainage realm, I'm doing sump pumps and I'm doing, infiltration systems and ground drainage and taking, conveying water from the roof system, the rain gutters, out into the yard and making it disappear. That's because it's a little bit more intense. When your house is wet and you're taking on water, you can't. It's not like copper gutter where you're like, it'll look great.
No.
In 6 months. You have to do it. So we're we do well by that. Right now we're banging. The phones are ringing off the hook, and we're stacking and racking. But it's still a slower start because I kind of lost. March wasn't as fat as it was last year, but it's fine. What's going to happen is it actually will pick up. All the juice will be in the fall. All of that will be a carryover, and I'm going to have it's so annoying because in our industry, it's there is seasonality. You can't get away from the seasonality. I don't care where you are. And so you got to like stack that money when, it's like salmon run. When the fish.
Let me ask you this, Frank, and this goes for you too, Colin. This is a question for both of you guys. In your earlier years, when you were more gutter dependent on your business,
Yeah.
what would you guys do to kickstart a spring? Right now maybe there's not a dire rush for you to kickstart your spring, but for a guy that's watching right now, what can they do? What was some of the stuff that works for you guys that would kickstart their spring? Coming from saying I'm so slow to where if you really hustle, what are some of those secrets to where they can kickstart their season?
Without even like just as more of a mentality, to me, it was the biggest eye opener for me as I was coming up was stop. You don't know. You only know what you know, right? So you're operating with blinders on, but you don't even realize it. I do roofs, I do rain gutters, I do drainage, I do siding. I've built houses, I've done everything. Now, when I look, I'm looking from a holistic approach. If there's a water problem in the basement, I'm looking at the roof. I'm looking at the rain gutters. I'm looking at the drainage. I'm looking at the grade of the yard. I'm looking at everything. And I remember when I was younger, I was just looking at the gutter. Can I help you with the gutter? Is there anything wrong with the gutter? How can I steer you to get this new gutter system? And outside of that, it was all blurry, right? That vision, I didn't have that vision. So for the guys at home, if you can just kind of slow your brain down for a hot minute and don't be so caught up in yourself and the fact that you're there to sell rain gutter. Pause, step back, look at the house, even get away from the homeowner and say, listen, this is my process. Tell me your problem, your pain points. Tell me why you've called me. Why am I here? What do you need? And then let me walk around the house and do my assessment. And that's a good time for you to step back, suck the whole house in, take a look at everything, top down. I don't care if you're not a roofer. Look at the roof. Is there something that just doesn't look right? Does it look askew? Is there a shingle missing? Is there a hike in the deck of the roof where it's got some sort of undulation? Is it near a penetration point of the roof, which means water's getting in around that stack or the chimney and buckling the plywood? Try to find ways to upsell and get into other realms. Even if you don't do that type of work, right back to where you guys were 10 minutes ago, have people that do. And throw a bone to a roofer if you're not a roofer, and maybe get a kickback, maybe mark it up and learn how to sell it yourself. But you gotta step away from gutter only. You can't be gutter centric because there's only so much money in it. That's really what it comes down to. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that was great, Frank. Excuse me. Seth commented, hustle face-to-face interaction. And I couldn't agree more with that. But also something that I always did my first few years in business is I'd just pound the phones. I'd grab my cell phone and call every single person in it. Like, hey, yeah, I'm still doing this little gutter business thing. I'd specifically say little gutter business because people want to help you when you have a little business, right? But when you're posting on Facebook, look at my new Sea-Doos and look at my big house. Like people are like, yeah, screw you, Alan, right? Hey, I'm still doing this little gutter business thing, and spring is kicking off, and I'm looking to book a bunch of jobs. So, do you have any friends or family this year that you could refer me to? And it worked, right? It just freaking worked. And I call every contractor, same thing. And that's a great way to just like, boom, springboard this thing and get going for the year. So I'm not afraid to put on the humble hat. Right? We talked about changing hats already today. I'd put on the humble one and let's rock and roll. So yeah, that's how I would springboard.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Scott? You didn't answer that question. You asked a baller question. Now you got to answer it.
Same thing. Just getting back in hustle mode. Instead of just being content. As I continue to grow and to less be scared to roll the dice. Previously I would turn like my Google AdWords. That's a big thing for me. I'll slowly, I'll slowly, just kind of sprinkle it in as the year goes on and we'll get busy. I started off with like a $6,000 a month budget come beginning of March when I'm typically, 1,000 or 2,000 because I'm still trying to get out of that mode.
Yep.
So that getting rid of that fear, we called estimates going back all the way until like July or June of last year. So we got on hustle mode. We got on hustle mode come July. We were already trying to fill that schedule come July.
Right.
Typically in the years past, I want to shut down. I want to take a break. For us in Chicago, it's easy because we get a couple feet of snow.
Right.
So we slow down. But already seeing the storm coming, knowing that the jobs are going to be slow to start the year, we're dialing them phones just like you said. We're calling estimates that are 6 months old. We're rerounding on old customers. We're rerounding on friends, making Facebook posts, and then throwing money at that. The Google AdWords has been what's killer for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's a question for everybody. When you're calling 6-month-old estimates, are you offering a spiff?
No.
You're just sticking to the same price. No.
If we can get a hold of them, are you still interested in that project? And we also, our CRM software. I know a lot of you guys are probably using Jobber now or something similar. When we're busy, we keep a pretty good eye. We keep an eye on our open rate, on what gets bounced back. So we'll look at all those parameters. Did they open the email? Did they say that they were going to get back to us? Even some of the ones that said no, it's not for us this year. We'll come back next year. We're going back to all those that low hanging fruit, all those crumbs that we left last year.
Those paid for leads. You guys already paid for the lead. You
Yes.
paid to go there.
You said spiff, right? To me, spiff is literally handing money back, but ultimately, we offer a discount. So I have somebody that is a rehasher, and what he does is he'll go into the CRM. He sees if a quote is 30 days old or older, and he solicits them. He reaches out by SMS, by telephone, or by email, connects with them. Hey, did you make a decision yet? If you haven't, can we try to show you some savings? Right. Then he comes back to the salesperson and says, where are you at with this project? Is there any room, any wiggle room? Can you save? Can you shave? What can you do to improve on the price? They're motivated by a discount. And then we'll put it back out there. That same person, he does a number of things. Reaches out to old clients, reaches out to clients that haven't used us for let's just say gutter cleanings. Maybe they haven't called us in 2 years, but we did a bunch of them. Where'd they go? He's basically rehashing, right? He's turning up old leads and trying to knock the dust off of them and plug them back into the program. To me, I find that highly valuable. It's
for sure.
You got to run it for a while, though. Yeah, it's long play, but
these are all magic bullets we're saying right now. Like there's no one magic bullet for the guy that's listening on how to get more leads tomorrow. If you pick up we just gave 10 different small things you can do. This is the magic bullet for everybody out there doing all these small magic bullets together and applying them.
Yeah.
People want to sit back. They want to crank up the Google ads or the Facebook ads and sit back and wait for the phone. It's like, come on,
which it works if you're in Chicago sometimes.
Yeah, I got Colby that just commented. Shout out to Colby, Mr. Simply Gutters out of Nashville. I think he did like 4 million last year or something.
Yes, Colby.
Yeah,
Colby is my hero, by the way.
He's an awesome human being. Yeah,
he's such a solid human being. Yes,
but he said we offer discounts when calling old quotes as long as there's room in the price. And so my question to Colby, and Frank just said he does that, and Scott, I don't know if you said if you do or not, but
I'm getting to the point now where I discount a couple $100.
Some money's better than no money,
Yeah.
Well, and so that I used to be like really, really prideful, like, nope, my price is my price. You either take it or you leave it.
Sure.
And now I'm like, you know what? There's more to be made off this customer than just the dollars on this job. Right. I can get a Google review. I can get referrals. Sure. I can get referrals for a lifetime. And then I can sell them other things later on. Right.
But I've always been scared in the past. I would discount 500 or I'd discount $1,000 off, even a medium ticket and now to a high ticket. And I'm learning now, you know what, I'll tell them, I'll take $100 off.
No, they're motivated by that. You don't have
that's enough now.
You don't have to
$100 is enough instead of me discounting 1,000 or 500 of what
100%.
That's right.
All you need to do is a little bit. I use the same thing. When you're intimidated by the sale process in the homeowner, you'll give them a deep discount, and then you always regret it. You're like, damn, why did I do that?
They were already going to buy anyways.
You just give them something, just a little piece.
$100. That's typically what I've been doing lately. It's been working.
And they're like, okay, but you have to close it though. It's got to be a sharp angle close. If I give you a discount, are you ready to go now?
Yeah.
If you can sign today, I will do this for you. Mm-hmm. There has to be a trade, right?
Correct.
Right. Exactly. So how dirty will you get on those rehashes, Frank? Like how, like will you go down to like a zero profit? Or you want to
No, no, no,
10%?
no.
Like where do you want to be?
I still hold my guns. I mean, I run a few different programs, right? So gutters, we know the margins on gutters. I mean, we run at like 120% margins on gutter. And so I have fluff there, right? That's an easy one. Drainage is different. I have huge logistical costs. My margins there, I try to get about 70% margins, but usually we're about these days, like I'm at 50, 45.
Clarify what that means. Are you saying gross profit margins, your labor and materials,
I
or
take my labor and materials costs and then I'll mark up. I'll mark up by sometimes 75%. Where
okay.
gutter, your markup, like I said, 120%. And, I mean, we're selling gutter at $17 a foot,
right?
15 to 17 on your 6K. So aluminum, obviously. But, drainage is a whole different beast. So that was a study in of itself. I had to really understand my numbers there. The easiest way to do it is know your cost, right? Know your cost on a job, and then just look at that margin and go, okay, what does this mean to me? And then granularize it, but maybe by the day. In drainage, my average jobs are 2 to 3 days. So then I look at it and go, all right, if I chop this into 3 days, what am I making? $5,000 a day? And then, I'll do that. I'll take $5,000. $3,000 a day to have 10 guys running around and heavy machines, not enough. But
Right.
on my normal retail price, we're doing 10 grand a day profit. So, I'll take the 5. I'll take the hit if I need to keep things greased. But it's very tricky when you start getting into stuff like that where it's a whole different pick list and materials list on parts and pieces and logistics. Logistics is tricky,
But applying that to gutters, if we know our numbers and we're selling at where we're supposed to be selling in gutters, we have enough room to play. So whether it's 3,000 to 5,000 a day or
Totally.
1,500 to 3,000 a day for a gutter contractor, it's all applicable if we're selling at the right range to begin with.
Scotty, this might be something you want to do, and I've never done it, but I see it done around here. I laugh at it because it's so transparent to me, but it works. A lot of roofers are selling the roof with a free gutter system.
I could. If I'm selling for 800 or 900 a square, why not?
Right. So
because the gutter system costs you $4.50 a foot versus giving them 10% off that roof.
The guys are already on the job. You just get the machine there, run it off. Like it's a loss leader, but you get the roof. Right?
No, that's something that we may explore. But right now I don't have to. But as I get more roof dependent, maybe we start giving away gutters. We'll see.
So
I don't want to if I don't have to. And there's a system. There's a system that works where I don't have to.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to fine tune that system first.
Yep. Let's go.
Cross-selling to me is everything too. I mean, it's amazing when I look at the numbers. On the sales side, on rain gutters, they're bringing in drainage work constantly. They're constantly upselling. Every time there's a downspout that goes into a ground drain, it's such an easy question. When was the last time these drains were looked at? Never. I don't know. I've owned the house for 8 years. I've never looked at them. And it's
Colin, do you do drainage?
I don't. I mean, we'll do like a little bit of like drain tile for a gutter downspout or something, but nothing like no.
So for me, I don't do drainage. I dabbled in it for a little while, but once again, the cross selling and giving referrals. That's one of my selling points that I've kind of worked into our sales presentation as well as Jasmine's. We're building authority with the customer when we're done. So if they need drainage at the end, sure, I can do them. I don't really want to do them because it's a pain in the butt. We're not set up for it. But I'm going to give you the guy that I would subcontract it to. So make sure you call, Josh as soon as we're done here. And Josh is going to come out and take care of your drains. And he's going to give you a really good price. So when that homeowner calls Josh and she gets them for the drains, now they're almost obligated to use me. So it's creating that domino effect. Same thing for the ones that have the patio. Well, we need a patio because the gutters are spilling over and messing up our patio. Well, I have a patio guy. Make sure you call him after you get my estimate.
Well,
so that's why I like
forever, and
transferring the trades, just like we talked about earlier, doing the referrals.
I was doing that forever, right? And I'm like, why do I keep referring out? Once you get to a point, like a couple of years of referring out, you're like, I just gave away $500,000 in business. Like, I'm just going to do it in-house. What am I doing? And then it evolves. But anyway, Scott, 2 new trucks. Was that today that you made that purchase?
Yeah, I bought the pickup truck today. That's Jasmine's new sales truck.
Let's
added a third box truck to the fleet today.
Sweet.
Where that was 2 days ago.
And they'll
We're
get
going with the FedEx trucks. I would if I saw. Did you sell your truck yet, Colin?
No, I just listed. I've got a local guy that thinks he's gonna buy.
But yeah, I've been looking at.
Right?
Initially, I was looking at just the regular box trucks, and then I just got 2 turned on to the FedEx trucks.
Dude, they're. I mean, that's all I run. That's all I run.
Yeah.
Step van,
My
right?
guys love it.
Chevy step van.
Yeah,
but it's the low body.
it's
Now
the
my only
low
thing is
body
typically
with
on
the
the right
side
side,
door.
we use that whole side for scrap and to put downspouts in.
Does it have
So
the
we're gonna stop that short so we can
door on the
utilize
right
that side
side?
door. So we're gonna have a little bit different of a layout.
Nice. Nice.
Where do you keep the scrap in your trucks? In those trucks?
We just do scrap jobs at the end of the day, and so they go in the center aisle, and then we pull it out at the end. So
We used to do that. We would get the waste management dumpster bags
yeah,
and keep them inside that. So we may go to that.
right. Yeah, we've got a deal with the big scrap yard, and they got a huge bin at our shop, and so end of the day we just throw
Well,
it
no,
all.
but we
in
have
there.
the bin in our shop too. But sometimes we do 300-400 foot houses in a day, and it takes up quite a bit of space in there.
Right.
So to put that stuff in the middle, it kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies.
For sure. Yeah, we just try to schedule our tear offs as the last job of the day. That way, it's last job of the day. Boom.
There's almost no job we do that isn't a tear off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
We don't do any new construction. None of that. We don't really do roofer work anymore. And the roofers that we do work for, they're not tore off.
Yeah.
No, it's amazing how many homes still don't have gutters around us.
Wow.
Up north.
Crazy.
Well, you're Central Michigan, correct? Ludington Central.
Yeah, I mean, they're technically northern lower
You're not too
peninsula,
northern,
but
yeah.
it's not too much.
You're not a Youper.
No, I'm definitely not a Youper. So
You're close enough where I have to come see. I don't know why I haven't came saw you yet, Colin.
dude, I say the same thing. I'm like, God, I gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why I don't go to Chicago, but that's.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a trip up there in a couple weeks.
Let's do it.
Oh boy, look at that!
Are the salmon running yet?
No, the best time for salmon is the fall, but they'll start running here again in the spring.
Well,
but,
the smallmouth should start spawning pretty soon, shouldn't they?
Yeah, it's coming. It's I'm not much of a fisherman.
Smallmouth spawn. Do you fish?
No.
Well, neither do I, but we'll go fishing. We'll do something
We
fun.
can try it. Yeah, let's go. All right, let's give it a whirl. I've got a couple of my guys that love fishing, and they'll show us all the spots. So
Okay.
Nice. One last question from home. Seth was asking, what lengths do you go to get installers that are good?
Oh,
what lengths? I mean, that's be a loaded question, maybe.
I post a free ad on Indeed all year long, and we cherry pick good installer leads on there, and we put them in our file, and when we need somebody, we call them. I'm fortunate I have a really good group of guys. I don't have any formal training system for them.
Yeah.
But my guys are awesome. So if somebody comes in and they know how to read a tape measure, they can hang gutter. If they can't hang gutter in a couple weeks, we go to the next person on the list.
You guys are going to all start running through gutter school, right?
We're definitely for sure.
yeah.
Damn right.
Whether they need it or not, they're going to go to school.
Damn right. We got a lot of tricks up our sleeve. A lot of announcements to come, right, Colin?
But no, that's our secret weapon. We run an ad on Indeed all year to keep a database of guys that want to work.
You get about a lot of scrubs too. You get a lot,
but we fine tune our ads. So you can run a free ad with no parameters and no filters, and you can get an ego boost and have 100 people apply, or you can put a couple questionnaires in there. You can have a couple requirements for them, and maybe get 1 a week or 2 a week. But if you're running it all year, you're always going to have a database to pick from.
That's right.
And then we can do referrals. We can post ads on Facebook and a referral to friends if you send me somebody that gets hired. So there's creative ways.
Where'd you find your roofers? I know you're doing that in house now, right?
They're a surplus crew from another company that I use, from another company I know.
You put them on payroll?
No, they're going to be they're all 1099.
Oh, perfect. All right, my man.
No.
You're learning, kid.
Right.
Damn it. All right. Well, I'll tell you, I think we're over time as usual. That's because we like it.
We're not that bad though. We're only
not
15, so.
Anything you guys want to share, Scotty? Anything you want to get out there while you got the hot mic?
I just want the world to know that I love you, Frank.
I love you too, sweetheart.
And I love you too, Colin. We're
I was gonna say, what the heck, man? Come on now.
No,
we were really cool. Me and Colin were really close at one point in time.
Well, we're gonna get back to that.
We're gonna get back to it. Yeah. I had a season in my life where I got a little too big for my britches, we'll say. So
we don't have to back down. He's back down to reality.
That's right. Back down to reality. Let's rock and roll. So
I love
When's the last time you shaved, Colin?
My beard?
Trims that.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Oh,
the
I mean,
bags
this
on your
is
eyes are
like
starting to
every
go away.
week
You're
and
not
a
gonna
half.
be so
But
tired anymore.
dude, my hair is like. I was just telling my wife, I was like, babe, I need to cut this. She's like, no, I like it. Like, you need to keep growing it a little bit longer.
Wait till I come up. I'll cut it for you.
There,
Oh,
I'll have a haircut
there you
for
go.
I
you.
always cut my own hair, dude. I used to be a
I-
one. Like,
I
I
cut
just
my
put a
own, too.
one on the
I
buzz
shaved
and
his
go.
yesterday. What's he talking about?
Yeah, but
When'd you lose a beard, Scott?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it's
A
time.
different look.
Yeah, Scotty boy.
More agile.
we're agile. There we go.
Less
Yeah.
wind resistance.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
savage.
Too good.
Well, I love you both, and this old man needs to get to bed. So
Same.
we have a lot of fun guests coming up, Scott. Colin and I have been grinding. George is grinding. We got some really cool people coming on the show. We're super stoked. So
Well, it's an awesome platform to be on, so everybody's lucky to be here.
Scott was invited on a few weeks ago. He had he couldn't get coverage, and he was upset about it, and so was I. But
Yep.
here he is, and good old Scotty. Can't wait to have you back, buddy.
I'll be back.
Let's go.
All right, gents.
Awesome.
All right.
Have a great night, everyone.